to do it, and you will not get up high, because if you're not going like this, if you have a really good job, you won't get the job, because you're not enough like that. Yeah? So you have to make a choice. So somebody like this cannot have real friends on the same level as he is, because they're a threat. A relationship with the flowing exchange is unknown to a proud person. One of the characteristics is loneliness. If you cannot find friends, you have to ask yourself if it could be a problem with your arrogance. There might be moments of longing for friends, but because of his or her denigrating behavior, nobody wants to get into close relationship with them. So together with pride is exaggeration. Small actions get blown up, actions of others get forgotten. Stories all have the same flavor of how wonderful I am. This exaggeration can be an antidote to arrogance. So you exaggerate, until you yourself have to find, oh, well, come on, now it's a bit too much. So we start to laugh. Yeah, so you can use it. You can use the exaggeration of arrogance as an antidote to arrogance, like homeopathic remedy. Yeah. That you yourself, you hear yourself saying these things, you have to be aware of what you're saying. And all of a sudden you become aware and you go like, oh no, look what I'm saying. And then there's humor, and then the whole bubble collapses, and then you can be normal. Pride is the biggest hindrance of a spiritual path. It closes the door for blessings and the help of the teachers. It closes the door too for other beings and compassion. When pride collapses, is a painful awakening. We see our faults and have to admit that we are ordinary like everybody else. Maybe even worse. We fall from the God realms back onto the earth, but without that, nothing will change. Later on, we will feel better without the burden of the identification. Yeah, so this is, the bubble bursts is okay if you can work with it. This also, many of you who know me for many years know it. I used to work in a sports shop in a ski resort. We had as a customer Greta Garbo. Some of you still know she was called the Divine, and I see lots of smiles on your faces. She had no more money. She was depressed. She was very lonely. Deborah Carr, maybe you also know, she had a house nearby. She took her in. She only came when we had sales, so she bought these big, huge, bulky cashmere sweaters, and we were not allowed to address her. She would immediately. So there's one person who had been living in America for a long time, who spoke English with this American accent that she felt comfortable with. She could kind of serve her. All us others we had to keep away. She wanted to hide. When she came with a huge hat, huge sunglasses, and she was beautiful. She was then 70. She had a very straight body, very broad shoulders, and she was so beautiful, but she herself found herself, I have to hide. The loneliness of a once famous person. It's so sad. It's so sad, the divine. Yeah. We also had Sophia Loren once. This one, totally different. This one emanates beauty. Amazing how you cannot help not to be attracted to her. She's so beautiful. She was, I don't know if she's still alive. Wow, She had this natural beauty that was emanating out somehow. That's it. You get off school 15, you get to know all these people if you work in the sports shop. In the Swiss mountains. But we also had a lot of arrogant people. Oh, yeah. People, don't you know who I am? And then you see it on the credit card. Yeah. Okay, so what helps against pride? There's 3 keys. Simplicity means to have the courage to be who you are. not to hide. As long as I'm always trying to be the best, things become very complicated. Oh, it's so true. You know, so when you feel yourself stressed and this, just see where it comes from, because I want to succeed, it has to be good and all this. Just think, it doesn't have to be the best, it's okay. And then you relax. If you're always trying to be at your best, things become really complicated. Remember that. And then things flow, you know. So Tommy, you did a terrible job. No, you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Didn't she? Okay, at the moment I'm not giving my best without any agenda, but I want to go to the top. Criticism I reject without really listening. It is difficult to teach me something. Well-meant advice is meeting with defense. On the other hand, it is easy for me to see the faults in others. And it's us, isn't it? You saw Ruti when the telephone kind of went off, immediately having to explain why. Don't just say, oh yeah, telephone rings, no big deal. Yeah. To be simple means giving up this complicated self-defense, to have the courage not to be anybody special, just normal, with all the natural qualities. To be simple makes us flexible. We can also, from time to time, leave the place in the sun to others. I become very flexible to serve or to lead, whatever the situation needs right now. I can be led, and I'm ready to be led, but to step down when needed. Even though I was very rigid before, now with the simplicity, we can flow with the situation. I can go along with others. So that's it. Maybe put on the mirror in the morning, be simple. Or just simplicity. Simplicity is not easy, by the way. Yeah, it's not simple because we're so bloody complicated. Yeah, and we want to be special. So in order to be special, you need, I mean, I can take the fame of Richard Gere and Sophia Loren and Greta Garbo. It's none of my doing. I was just working there. I can tell you about them that I met them because they came to the shop or to the teaching. That's nothing to do with me. Yeah, but I appropriate these kind of, the fame of them. Okay, so then the second one is devotion. A form of heart opening, to trust somebody who knows the path better than us, or the work, or whatever. To allow to be led, the remedy for arrogance. When I admit that I need help, then arrogance diminishes. With the need to be led and to receive help allows us to see the qualities in others. Because this also, I started the sentence, I didn't finish it. Whenever we see the qualities of somebody that we like, so this is why it's important that we like people. So whenever you see the qualities of somebody you like, you feel happy. Their qualities become your own. Whenever you see the qualities of somebody you dislike, makes you jealous. So this is why we have to open up our heart to everyone. So we can even, and at the end you even rejoice with somebody's qualities who you think were just 100% bad. Because it doesn't make them better people when you think they're 100% bad. Even you tell them you're 100% bad. You think that makes them better people? You tell somebody you're an idiot, you think it makes them intelligent? No. They know. Maybe. Don't know. Yeah. It's so difficult to be with arrogant people. You know what we did in Bulgaria? It's so cruel, but we really did it, and I'll tell you. We had one, she was so demanding. She was a fashion designer, also Buddhist, fashion designer. And she always wanted the best room. But yeah, we didn't have so many best rooms, but we had one. But we wouldn't give it to her because that one was not good enough when we put her there first place at the beginning. So we had to give her something that was really not so nice, so that we could give her a better room. Then only then she was happy. So if you don't do it to kind of to make fun of these people or whatever, but if you do it because she needs to be comfortable to see her arrogant mind. If you're not comfortable, you cannot see these things. It's too painful. Yeah? So they need to be comfortable. And then maybe they can understand something. So if you do it for her benefit, then it's allowed to do these manipulating things. If you do it because then after to see, then no, then don't do. Yeah? But we can do these manipulations if we really want her to be comfortable and happy. But then again, if she comes again, it only works once, because then she knows where the best room is. But I can tell you a really nice other story. Oh, then we need to do the meditation here. Somebody very rich also, because with money, arrogance almost comes together, yeah, very often, and good looks also, or intelligence, or diplomas, or being that university, this university. Somebody like this, his wife said, I hate to go to hotels because he always asks for a better room. And I wait outside until he has it, and then I go. So she's quite normal. Yeah. And he doesn't come across as an arrogant person, but that was his thing. So when there's teachings of the Dalai Lama, so in one country he sponsored the whole teachings of the Dalai Lama, with security guard, hotels, everything, the whole thing. So that was in his country where he was. Then in another country, like for example in Switzerland, people are not put in the front when they give a lot of money. People are put in front, the ones who register first. So that's it, not anymore, unfortunately, but that's how it was done. So he was registered very, very late. He came to Switzerland and he was sitting at the back. And he said, and this one, the sign of a good person. He sees what he's doing and he's able to admit it. So he was outraged. How dare they? I sponsored the whole event in my country and it cost me such and such, I don't know how, 1 million maybe, I don't know how much it cost, a lot. And he was marching forward because of course then the people, the security guards of His Holiness, he knows him. And he wanted to have a better seat. He said, I stopped in the middle of it. And I said, wow. I almost have tears in my eyes. It's so beautiful. These moments when you really see what's going on, the whole thing breaks apart. He said, I saw what I was doing. I walked back to my seat at the back, where I was sitting with the Tibetans, with their children, and their thermos with tea, and chatting, and, the party. Tibetans, they don't go to the teachings to listen to the teaching. They go to have a party. For them it's enough to get the blessings of the Dalai Lama. They don't need to hear what he says. So I was sitting amongst them. They were giving him Tibetan tea, which is, salted tea. And the kids were kind of crawling over him. And he said, and I was so happy. I was so happy. He had overcome his ego at that moment. That's when, you hear them many, many times, and you think you're doing it, you're still not doing it. But because you hear them so many times, when the moment comes, all of a sudden, boom, you start to see. Maybe also the devotion, the blessings of the Dalai Lama being there. And you're able to let go and say, ooh, wow, and able to laugh at yourself, how ridiculous you are, And then to go back to your seat with the Tibetans and be very happy. Much happier than to have the seat in the front. Because imagine having to sit in the front and like me, every time after lunch I fall asleep in the teachings of the Dalai Lama. You know how it is when you're sitting in the front? Much better to sit in the back, I tell you. Okay, so then it goes like devotion, yeah? When I admit that I need help. Then when pride dissolves, we still continue to develop qualities, and we notice that they cannot come out of self-identification. We recognize that these qualities come out of Buddha nature and are grateful that these outer helpers have shown us the path to our inner Buddha. It has nothing to do with blown up self-worth, in the understanding that the qualities can flow better if we are not entangled in this self-identification. It's something that frees us. We do not have to produce anything in the measure that the identification dissolves. In that measure, our qualities appear because they're natural. They are an expression of the nature of the mind. We do not have to do anything, just allow them to be there with devotion. Devotion that somebody helped me, my gurus, the Buddha, the methods, the Dharma, the Sangha, the spiritual community helped me to, not to develop them, kind of to make them, to make them, but to get rid of the hindrances that they come up. It's not my doing. Everything I know thanks to the kindness of others. Everything I am is thanks to the kindness of my gurus and my parents and all the other people. Great Garbo, Like, we forget how dependent we are on others to be what we are. Yeah? So, devotion is the humility not to stand in the way of goodness. I am whatever I need to be right now, like in Shantideva's second chapter. When he says, so beautiful, may I be a bridge, a boat, an island for those who need a bed, for those who need a bed, a servant for those who need a servant. Whatever is needed, may I happily be that. But we need to train the mind to be able then to be that. Otherwise, our confused mind becomes more confused. So we have these values. We want to be generous. We have an occasion to be generous. We don't. We want to be patient. We have an occasion to be patient. We don't. We run away. We want to be courageous. We avoid difficult situations. So no matter, the mind is very confused because we have these values, but then we don't train them. We don't try to live them. We don't even try. We want comfort and easygoing, and it's not. Life is difficult. Life is tough. Yeah. And then also, if we are simple and natural, we are also humble and modest. When we listen to the needs of the situation and follow bodhicitta, then pride has no chance. Then friendship is another antidote to pride. Friends meet on an equal level, can exchange on that level and meet in a natural way. To meet others on the same human level is a perfect remedy for arrogance. It means we show our own weaknesses, that I do have problems and do not stand above everything. And we don't need to advise everybody what they need to do if they do not ask. If they ask, fine. Otherwise we just there and listen and we share. Yeah? Okay. So we do a 10-minute kind of little bit exchanging oneself for others meditation. Now I didn't touch on jealousy and envy, so we still have a topic for next year, which is maybe a good thing, Yeah, we just do short 10 minutes kind of reflection as we did before. And it's especially touching our spaciousness, the spaciousness inside, our nature. Because, we think we're so small and all this, but actually the mind can expand. And this is Tonglen, especially with spaciousness. It sounds to me as if it's from Pema Chodron, I don't know. It's not my meditation. Sounds a bit like Kargil, which is, they talk a lot about spaciousness. The Gelug's not enough, I have to say. We have it all in the head. There is no space in the head. The space is in the heart. Okay. So you just sit quietly, relax, breathe, simply and naturally. With a happy mind, we're still alive. Yeah, life is difficult. Also in this country, elections are coming up. It will be terrible. Probably. But it's okay. It's not the end of the world. We can still keep our heart open and always wish for the happiness of all. Yeah, well, what you do? It's like... Or we can go into depression and anger and all this, which doesn't change anything anymore. Let go of restlessness, let go of the past and the future, and compulsive thinking and planning. Gosh, sounds totally easy, or is very difficult. What can help is try to touch spaciousness. Imagine that you're becoming like a vase, like empty. With you, there is vast space. You can use your out-breath by dissolving tensions, solid things in your body, becoming very spacious, open, no limits. Don't be too realistic here. Around you there is vast space. We're always surrounded by space. Between the two, though, there is a subtle boundary, so you're not losing yourself. Breathe in, breathe out. Let the inhalation dissolve within. Let the exhalation dissolve without. Open up to basic spaciousness that is the nature of our mind, and clarity, which is also an aspect of the nature of the mind. When we do Tonglen, it's called giving and taking. So we do exactly what we usually don't do. We don't run away from difficult things. We take them voluntarily upon ourselves, and we give away or we give out everything that is good. So it's good to work with texture. So when you breathe in feelings of heat, darkness and heaviness. Almost a sense of claustrophobia. Don't be afraid, nothing will happen to you. When you breathe out, and this is very important, you breathe out feelings of coolness, brightness and light. Whatever you think is good, you breathe out, you share. Whatever you think is heavy, dark, sticky, you take in. We train the mind to be courageous. We're not running away. We breathe out a sense of freshness. We breathe in a sense of claustrophobia. Breathing completely, taking in negative energy through all the pores of your body. This will be on Tuesday, I tell you, will be very helpful. I take it upon myself. I can deal with it. When you breathe out, radiate positive energy completely through all the pores of your body. So do this until your visualization is synchronized with your in and out breath. So again, courageously in the heavy stuff. Out the light, the freshness, the love, the compassion. In the aggression. You're not keeping it, okay? You transform it. So for Tuesday, if you're, totally lost, totally hopeless, if you're totally stuck, you do this practice for the pain you are feeling yourself, but simultaneously for all those who feel the same kind of despair, hopelessness. Or for instance, if you are feeling inadequate, breathe that in for yourself. But for all the others who are in the same boat, and send out confidence, adequacy, and relief in any form you wish. If you feel bad on Tuesday or on Wednesday when the results come, think I'm not the only one. But you see how you're stuck, how many others are being stuck. The wish to open up again, the wish for others to be able to open up again and live their values in whatever way they can. When you breathe in the stuckness, the darkness, the stickiness of yourself, like your future self, like the minute after, and just being stuck of all others. When you breathe out peace, space, open heart, kindness, the wisdom, what to do in difficult situations like that. Confidence, adequacy, relief in any form you wish. So we can make this very simple breathing exercise anywhere we are, even in the street. And we make this taking in and sending out bigger. Like for example, if you do it for somebody that you love, you know that this is not the only person being in that difficult situation. You extend it to all those who are in the same situation. If you're doing Tonglen for someone you see on television or on the street, do it for all the others in the same situation. Make it bigger than just that one person, really understanding the shared humanity that we have. We always focus, it's so limited, either it's just me or my friends. But so many other people are despaired, have depression, are sick, are afraid, anxious. And we're also not doing it to feel better, although that's very often that's the result. After the practice, you feel much better because you feel more spacious, you feel more open, you feel more courageous. But it's not the purpose. The purpose is for our mind to have compassion, to be able to look at the suffering of others with open eyes, not to look away, and not to feel helpless and hopeless. You can do Tonglen for people you consider to be your enemies, those who hurt you or hurt others. Do Tonglen for them, thinking of them as having the same confusion and stuckness as our friends and we ourselves. Breathe in their pain of being stuck and send them relief. And we send them, when we send them relief, when it's important people in politics, may they be guided by their own compassion and wisdom that everybody has. When we breathe in, we think we take their self-centeredness, their confusion. Breathing out, we send them love and compassion and wisdom. So with this practice, Tonglen, it can extend infinitely. As you do the practice, your compassion